Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell and Adopted by the Raikage. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Josh and Seal inside of him over on Anime King 3, and enjoy that guys. And also, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto failed his Genin test and was given intense training, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button. Yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, with this to begin this new episode, start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Yujito would drift off into a thought as she was still teaching the academy, because without Naruto there, she was gonna drive herself mad if she just spent all of her time home. As she remembered when the boy tried to kill himself once, when he thought that he was worthless and there was no one there for him. As she remembered, that was the first day that he called her big sister, as she was just so happy. As she came from her thoughts, she promised. She made herself a promise that she will, fine, she will have him return back. It doesn't matter how long it takes, she will get him back. As she will have her little brother again. It doesn't matter what happened. If she had to move mountains, she will do so. At Konoha, as Kushina, Katsumi, and Sasuke was following behind Kakashi and Naruto as they were trying their best to stay out of the sign of light, as they wanted to know where he was going, while Katsumi and Sasuke was. Kushina knew that she was being selfish as she was told to just give him time, but she just wanted to see how he was doing as she watched him enter the forest of death, as she wouldn't allow Katsumi and Sasuke to go in there. They weren't ready for something like that, as Naruto spent his time in there with Kakashi, but he was snatched up by Anko, as Kakashi realized that Naruto was trusting him less and less. To make it worse, he told Naruto that he was given the order by the Hokage to teach him the jutsu, as Naruto was trusting him less and less as Anko took Naruto towards her snake den. They become quite good friends, as Naruto also got a snake partner as well, as the snake seemed to like him a lot, as Naruto realized that Anko was a nice person right there and then, as she took the snakes that were left out in the cold and gave them home until they could fend for themselves. So with that, they headed back. As Jiraiya came, Jiraiya gave Naruto a note. It was from the Raikage, as the man gave Naruto a new headband and a new pocket knife was in there as well. And the Raikage also sent him a letter, as that just reinforced his confidence. His father was worried about him and would meet him in 2 years. So with that, Uncle came to kill Jiraiya, seeing that he was kinda peeping on her. Jiraiya had spoken to Minato, as he didn't know what the hell was wrong with Minato, but he wouldn't allow him to do this stupid thing again, as he's going too far. As Minato asked him and Jiraiya was against him, he was still angry about Naruto being left out in the cold and being put through the things that he was put through. After all, the Raikage had told Jiraiya what Naruto has been through, and Jiraiya's heart couldn't even take it. The poor boy had suffered so much, and Minato was just pushing his will on the boy. The next morning, Kakashi came after talking to Minato, as Naruto was trusting him less and less, as Kushina also tagged along as well. As they made their way, they saw the apartment that was filled with snakes. As Naruto told her that Uncle was the one living here, she was surprised the lady has taken confinement in his home. But it was then that one of Naruto's clones burst as he headed off. Kushina went after him as Naruto was furious as someone was troubling Shino. He made his way. Kushina, in her fast, hasty moments, she spoke about Naruto being her son, shocking Kakashi to his core. Her son? Was he Sensei's son as well? Kakashi was shocked as Naruto arrived. He swiftly defeated all of them, as they had brought Shino up to the roof and tried to spray bug spray on him. Naruto was pissed off. He was violent. He grabbed Akamaru away from Kiba as he looked over towards the edge. How would he like it? As Naruto dropped Akamaru. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. Akamaru! No! Kiba screamed as a foot smashed into his stomach, as Naruto then pinned Kiba down to the ground by his feet. How does it feel, Naruto yelled as he was still wearing his mask. How does it feel to be powerless, to be weak? To see those that you love and cherish be taken away from you? You damn Kumo! Naruto punched him inside the face. As that made Kiba quiet, tears slipping down his face. Answer the question. Do you feel sorrow? The pain? You would have subjected Shino to that, you know? Why would you have done that to Shino? Was he less worth than you to have a chance of happiness, huh? Answer me, said Naruto as he grabbed Kiba by the jacket. You are a worthless, pathetical, weak boy who think the world revolves around himself. As Naruto taunts him as he dropped right in the center. Now it's time you learn the lesson of life, said Naruto, as his hands started to crack with electricity. As Kiba started to shake in fear. I'm sorry, Kiba said. Naruto, it's enough, said Shino, as his bugs had already sucked the chakra from the others, as he had fell unconscious. You already took away what he loved. The rest is cruelty. Naruto sighed. I'm too good-hearted for my own benefit. Gamma. Bring up the puppy, he said, as a clone came up from the windowsill. As Akamaru was biting a stick, so he wouldn't bite the clone. Boss, why do you always give me the shitty job? The clone named Gamma whined, as he dropped the puppy, who rushed back over to Kiba. You didn't kill him? Kiba said. My big sister wouldn't have forgiven me, said Naruto. She just liked cute things like that. The clone spoofed away. But I'll warn you, once, if you ever, he said, stepping forward, think of doing something like this again, I will find you. And I will take away every single thing you love. Do I make myself clear? As Kiba nodded. Quickly. Damn, said Naruto. I'll have to buy the groceries in the afternoon. As he pushed his chakra coming here so quickly, after all, what should have taken him minutes to get here only took him seconds. I'm nearly out of chakra, not to mention all the clones, and beating crap out of all the bullies. My father has an orchard. I'm sure he will give you a favorable price, said Shino. Really? Well, thanks, said Naruto. Come on. As the both of them started to make their way, he paused. As he looked towards the Hyuga girl. You, girl. I don't know you, and I don't care. But you, Uchiha, I saw you in my clone's memory. Try that stunt again, and I'll beat the living crap out of you. And with those words, Naruto descended back down to the classroom. Kakashi and Kushina arrived on the roof 5 minutes later, where they found the shivering Hinata Hyuga, paralyzed with fear, Sasuke, and all the thugs beaten to unconsciousness badly, but no deaths and no sign of electrocution. They would have arrived sooner, but clones after clones. That is one of the reasons why Naruto chakra was almost done. He created hundreds of clones that created body walls, forcing them to push through it, and just kept on coming after another. It slowed them down for 5 minutes. That showed how much clones that he made. You're Hinata, right? Hinata nodded. What happened here? Asked Kushina. He came by to save Shino-kun. She then fainted. Kiba, can you stand? He nodded. I think I just made Naruto-sama snap. Kakashi blinked. What? Did he just say Naruto-sama? What can I say? He's stronger. I guess I'm not the alpha that I thought I was. Not until I get some harsh training. Never again. I won't challenge him, said Kiba, as he hugged his puppy and made his way downstairs. He okay? Said Kushina as she looked towards Sasuke. I think that he fainted standing up, said Kakashi. Was Naruto threatened that much? I think I should have a talk with Naruto. While I admit, all of this is not his handiwork, seeing that I see bug bites. But these beatings, it didn't have to go that far. The thugs were literally beaten to a pulp. Meanwhile, on a couple floor below, Katsumi was pouting as both Ino and Sakura had started to query her repeatedly on who her cousin was and why they had never heard about him. I say, he will be a best pick for you, Ino begged, said Sakura. Why, forehead? I think he would be better for you. Out of the way, a voice said. Usually, it was one of the boys in the class that act like they're all mature and this and that, and they usually punch them. So that is what the two girls did. They came around that fist. To who to dare interrupted them. But the person grabbed both of their fists as Naruto squeezed onto it tight. The both of them winced. Naruto-kun, you're hurting them. Stop, said Katsumi. As Shino placed a hand on his shoulder. Calm down, he said, as Naruto seemed to be still pissed. You two, next time you try something so stupid before looking, I'll snap both of your wrists, said Naruto. Both girls backed away from him immediately, seeing that dark gaze in his eyes. Naruto-kun, you can't be mean to a girl like that. It's Katsumi, said Naruto, cutting her off. You know something funny? They chose a ninja academy. That means they're gonna become ninja one day. So exactly what do you think is gonna happen on the field? Do you think that they're gonna say no, I can't hurt them because they're girls? Or are they gonna rip their guts out and slit their throats? As Naruto simply walked past and went to his seat, Shino looked towards him. He is going through a bad moment right now, he said, as he went towards his own seat. In the following days, the news of Naruto's strength echoed through the school. And while it obviously did not help him with the civilian side, it at least made things more easier in school. Kiba apologized as he accepted the fact that he was being childish, and Shino had forgiven him, so Naruto did so as well. But the day was coming, October the 10th. It was drawing near, and with that, Naruto's jumpiness became more pronounced. As he was on edge, the closer they got. The Hokage remained silent on matter, and neither Kushina or Kakashi had showed himself for a while, which was fine with him. He still had Shino, Uncle-chan, both Guy and Lee, and the Toad Sage, although he hoped that he delivered a letter back to his father without reading it. Time skip. October the 10th. You know, moping won't solve things, Uncle said, as she saw the boy. You need to tackle your problems head on. What if the problem is my birthday, he said. Wait, today's your birthday? Why didn't you tell your cute Uncle-chan? I would have bought you... No. It's not the problem, said Naruto. Really, I don't need anything, nor do I want anything. Because I'm a bit low on cash right now, she said. As Naruto chuckled at that, she always put a smile on his face. So what's the problem, she asked. The day I was born in Konoha don't go hand in hand. You know why, right? He asked. Maybe she didn't know. No. Why would it? Do they hate the 10th of October? Is there something going on except for Naruto-chan's birthday? As she winced as she saw the sheet he was clutching on to tighten even more. Of course she knew what the day was, but she just didn't want him to blame himself for those idiotic, stupid villagers. It's not only them, said Naruto. It's... How would you feel if you're randomly chosen amongst others to be the bringer of a horrible thing? I mean, there had to be another newborn baby when the Kaibu was still inside me, right? Uncle Gaze turned softer as she took a chair and sat down beside him. I suppose so, Naruto-chan, she said. But why not you? You were an orphan as well, right? As Naruto looked at her. No, I wasn't. I had a twin that was born in the same day as me, but I was chosen. My father did not choose me for some high or noble reason. No, he chose me so the other one could live a happy, normal life. Then I was abandoned to my fate. I was discarded because I had served my purpose. As Uncle heart pinged at that, because she had felt the same way when her sensei abandoned her for years. As she knew the same feeling, your father, the Hokage, surely asked him to make a great sacrifice for you, right? I mean, she paused. Naruto-chan, she asked. Who's your father, she said. As Naruto laughed, but there was no humor. Look at the fourth head on the mountain, he said. Uncle blinked at that request, before her eyes went wide. No. Wait. Really? She said. She looked at him. He said nothing. Why did you tell me this? I'm sure they warned you not to tell anyone, she said, as this must be a big secret. Because I trust you, said Naruto. It was just simple words, but those simple words cracked Uncle outward appearance. He trusted her with this really important secret. He trusted her. She was sure there was supposed to be a punishment for revealing such secrets. It was going to be death, but something bad. And yet he trusted her enough to tell her. But she wouldn't talk. She would never tell anyone about this. Fine then, she said. You and your adorable puppy eyes. You don't have to go anywhere today. You can just stay here, no school. However, you have to get up and eat breakfast, she said. Got it? As Naruto nodded, as Shiru was on his shoulder, the albino snake hadn't grown much, but he had grown a bit. He had gotten his first taste of something alive, a pigeon that Naruto had caught on the rooftop. For some reason, everyone was fine with snakes eating pigeon, but not eating cute fluffy rabbits or mice. It was probably racism. Uncle watches the boy eat breakfast. I don't get something, she said. About what? You can defend yourself well enough. So you're not doing this because of you. Why are you staying here? As Naruto lowered his head, Shino would probably get caught up in the crossfire. There is Toki and there's Ayam. I can defend myself quite well, but what about them? And not to mention, if I lose myself out there in anger, I might harm someone innocent. And I did promise Kakashi that I wouldn't harm anyone in Konoha, that I wouldn't harm the innocents. He said nothing of the bad ones though. Oh, said Uncle, so you're a softy too, she says you're ruffling his hair. She wanted to stay home and just kept on ruffling his hair and cuddled the boy. As he deserved. Not to be alone right now. He didn't deserve to be alone. As she was angry that she had work. But duties were duties. Well, I'll be back tonight. Make sure not to burn down the house, she said. As she smiled at that, he smiled back. She waved goodbye. Later that night, the nerve of that boy made Sasuke angry. He hadn't shown up at school that day, Katsumi's birthday. So Katsumi had asked her mother where the boy lived. It took a lot of relenting, as Katsumi wanted to invite him over for her birthday party in a late sleepover. After a while, Kushina relented and told him where the boy lived. Katsumi wanted to go over there, but her father had called her away for something. So she gave Sasuke the job, and here he was looking at the apartment. He could throw a rock inside, but he was a distance away, he would have to yell. As he looked down below, there was a festival going on through the streets. People were celebrating the defeat of the Kyuubi. As he remembers some fond memories his mother used to bring him towards the festivals. As he watches Kakashi came out of the apartment, waving goodbye to the boy. The nerve, even receiving Jonin training at home. He was the last of the Uchiha. And he deserved training because he was supposed to be great. He knew it. That is why he made his way as he started to walk up the wall. Both him and Katsumi training Kushina until they got it down. As he climbed up, the first thing he saw was Naruto reading a book. The Tales of the Gods and Ninja, while the water was boiling, probably for his instant ramen. He showed no interest at the festivities, as his back was turned as he was focused on his book. Sasuke tried to sneak in as a ninja, but the moment his hand reached down on the frame, something grabbed it and yanked him inside the room as he was pinned down, snakes covering his entire body. Sasuke yelled in fright as Naruto looked down the Uchiha in surprise. Why did he enter his apartment? And who told him? Anko wouldn't do that. She didn't even know Sasuke. Kakashi. Kakashi had came back to apologize. And after that, he wouldn't give out his location so easily. Shino wouldn't have talked. So the only one left was Kushina. Need something, said Naruto. As he simply waved his arm, the snakes moved away from him. As Sasuke looked around in fear, checking his body if any of them remain. I don't. Katsumi wants you to attend her party, said Sasuke. She insists you do. I don't intend to participate, said Naruto as he turned away. And that ends the discussion, he said. Completely ignoring Sasuke after that. Sasuke eyed twitch in rage. He was the one that started the talk, and yet this boy had just dismissed him like that. Listen here, Sasuke said. You will. Shut up, said Naruto as he turned towards Sasuke. Kakashi-san came and tried to convince me. If he can't, and Jonin of Konoha, why the hell do you think you can't? Sasuke's pride kicked in. I'll bring you by force then, he said, as he jumped back, preparing to go through hand signs. Naruto blinked as he moved. He smashed his fist into Sasuke's gut and grabbed him as he placed a pocket knife right at Sasuke's throat. Let me go, said Sasuke as he struggled to move. As Sasuke reached into his pants pocket and pulled the kunai as he stabbed Naruto with it. As Naruto kicked him away and launched him towards the window as Sasuke flew right through it. He managed to flip and start himself, but he crashed on the other side of the building, bruising up his arm a bit. He snarled towards the window, as Sasuke didn't even notice that he used a kunai with an explosive tag on it. As Naruto stood there, he heard a sizzling sound as it went off before he could do anything. Boom! The explosion went off. Sasuke's eyes widened as he checked his pouch. He used the kunai with the explosive tag on it, as the fire lit right where the kettle was, as flames filled the entire place. Yes, the couch, the snake that was pretending to be a couch, ate fire as he used his tail and broke the wooden door in the room, hissing for the other ones to get out, moving towards where the sea serpents were. As he turned his head towards the boy, who was not getting back up in the mix of all the inferno. Well. Stupid mistake, and here you are once again, said the Kyuubi. It's just a flesh wound, said Naruto. Yes, like all the ones from all those years ago, especially on your birthday. Set him on fire. What a way to die. The fire is slowly burning away your skin, your muscle tissue, and everything else. No one's gonna save you, no? But I can, if you want me to. I can make it, said Naruto. To the window, maybe. But what about the snake, the fire? We'll go to the back room and fry them to crisps. Perhaps you can destroy the wall and have them exit down to the lower stair. You know, they're gonna pin the blame on you for burning down the building and stop wasting my time, said Naruto. As he crawled, all they need to do was turn off the gas pan. He wondered who the hell sold Uchiha, a kuna with an explosive tag, to sell that dumb kid. He shook his head. He promised Uncle that he would not let anything happen. Not to mention, this was not only his house, Uncle lived here as well. And he wanted her to stay. She was surely gonna be pissed when she come back though. No one was seeing the fire as it was leaving burn marks on the concrete. The smoke was exiting from the other side, and the people down below were drunk and chatting, and explosions, fireworks were going off. He couldn't use his lightning to make an escape route. The fox was a cunning bastard. He had wind, and if he used wind to open the hole in the wall, the flame would simply suck out and pull him along with it as well. The fox wanted to die as well. Well, no, I thought it was a good escape plan. Yeah, like I'll ever believe you, said Naruto. He reached up and tried to touch a valve, but it was scorching hot. As he fell to his side, as smoke was going into his lungs, he saw Coach-san and the other snake looking at him, thinking that he would solve the problem. So he ignored all the pains as he shot his hand forward and grabbed the knob. He turned it, despite the scorching heat burning his arm. The valve gave way and started to stop the gas output. The remaining of the fire burned away the remaining of the gas before turning off. Guess I have to buy some water sprinklers, he said to himself. And polar ramen. That was the last package, he said. He fell, face first, as the snakes all moved over towards him. His body was in excruciating pain. The snakes all looked sad for some reason, but Naruto was confused. He saved them. They're all okay. Why were they... Wait. As Naruto pat himself down slowly in pain, and he did not feel the slithering. Where is Shiro? As he looked around, as he saw the remains. That is when Naruto understood why he did not suffer the blast so much, even though it was so close. Shiro had taken the brunt of the attack to protect him. And Shiro died because he was too weak, and right now his body was giving up on him as he drifted into unconsciousness. As he couldn't even think what Uncle was gonna say when she got back. Time skip, Uncle got back a bit early as she had a cake with cream and chocolate. As she got back early after all, it was his birthday. She couldn't just leave him alone. She stopped though when she reached the window as she smelled smoke. She rushed inside quickly as she saw him in the corner. His back was burned. Burn marks all over. The all too familiar signs of an explosive tag went off. In the room, the signs were clear. Coach-san and the other snakes were around Naruto, holding him in a protective nest, waiting for her to come back. No one had ever gone that far with her. In their bickering of calling her snake whore and Orochimaru bitch and so on. He had done all he could to hide himself from the people, and she, like a stupid idiot, did not think about those who have something against her. As she started to blame herself, the guys against Naruto were nothing but mobs of civilians, but the one against her was Jonins and Onvus, who had saw Orochimaru kill your squad mates or their friends. They were the ones that had something against her. As she dropped the cake and rushed forward, as she picked him up, as she quickly made her way off. I'll question you guys when I return, she said to the snakes. As Uncle arrived at the hospital, she grabbed 2 medic needs that she found, the first 2. She did not want to hear their excuse, she just grabbed them and brought them. She told them that she will summon her snakes to bite them to death if they did not work on the boy. As she waited, she was reached by a Raikage. What happened? He also have a gift wrap bundle in his arm and a few bite marks. By the way, your snakes were furious when I tried to get in. Someone attacked Naruto to get to me, she said. They nearly burned the house down. That's what bastards did. If I get my hands on them, I'm gonna kill them. No matter what, she said. I tried to convince him to attend his cousin's birthday party, Kakashi said. But I didn't actually want him to go there too. It would be too much. So when he refused, I thought I would just buy him something as well. Today is his own birthday, you know. I know, he told me, Uncle said. I actually got him a cake, but that fell on the floor. I have to toss it away, she said. Yeah, he never enjoys birthdays, Kakashi said. Seems like there's some cruel god out there that likes to see him suffer on these days. One of the 2 medic came out with a flustered face. It's done. He's stable and sleeping. The antidote. Uncle did let a snake bite him, but there was no poison. Let me see him first, she says. She went inside as he was bandaged and calmly sleeping. There, you see, he's okay. Now, there's no antidote. The snake was not poisoned, she said. No, get out, she said. She threw him out of the place. You know, I should warn the Hokage about this, said Kakashi. He raised his hand in surrender when Uncle glared towards him. But on the other hand, I won't. Sensei is not his usual self since a good while. And I already betrayed Naruto just once. And I'm not gonna do that again, he said. Time skip. Kumo. Months later. The Raikage was getting letters from some of the females, saying that there was this 50-year-old pervert who was peeping on them. At the same moment, the Raikage had phoned Jiraiya, who came to his office. The man had let it slide, because he was sure that the pervert's age was slippery to catch as the headband in his forehead. Oil. And not to mention he brought Naruto a letter. After months. Well, at least he got it. He wasn't gonna call Yujito yet, because he was sure if she had arrived, she would have snatched the letter away and refused to let anyone read it until she was properly done, and that would take a long while. As he opened the letter, Dad, thanks for the letter, it said. That was the first thing read. I'm being a good boy and a good ninja, so say that to big sister Yujito so she stop worrying. I know she's worrying because she always does, but I'm fine. Tell B I can't wait to see him again. We have to get the party started and the rhymes going once again after all. Tell Naru I'm cool here and I miss his Kinjutsu practice. Can you also tell C that I'm doing my best in learning sensory techniques? I'll be sure to get it on medical being training as well, so I'll be able to heal myself if I'm wounded. Please, don't worry about me, I'm gonna be fine. I met a real nice lady who seemed to have a bad past just like me, and we became good friends. Her name is Uncle and she's usually very cheerful. By the way, I'm surviving by myself. I'm not taking in any of Konoha charity. I'm a Kumo ninja through thick and thin. Thank you for the forehead protector and the gift inside. They did trash my old one, but now everything is fine. I also made a friend. His name is Shino Aberami, and they have insects. Insects that are tame, said Naruto. Oh, and I also got a cool new friend as well. It's a white snake. I name it Sharu. He likes to stay on my right arm or my neck. The nice lady uncle has a lot of snakes. There is even a snake that is big as a coach that we call Coach-san. I'm sorry I can't write more, but Jiraiya-san is in a hurry to leave. And I want you to get this letter as soon as possible. I bro-fist you back, father. You're a perfect fine son, Naruto. P.S. Really, tell big sister Yujito she has nothing to worry about. I'm fine. The Raikage folded the letter neatly. How is he, really? He's doing fine. He's a really polite fellow. One that in a few years I wouldn't mind taking on as an apprentice. A gaze turned thoughtful. He's still gonna choose Kumo, you know? Doesn't matter. I've been in some disagreement of Minato recent way of seeing things. In 2 years, if I find out that he did anything to my son, I'm gonna smash his head into the ground. For once, Jiraiya nodded. I'll just make sure the citizens of Konoha don't get harmed in the process. At the moment, Jiraiya was not really a big fan of Minato at all. Later on, the news went around about the Raikage running from the fearful Nibe, as Yujito met up with Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was a bit hammered from drinking sake with the Raikage, as he told her that he arrived earlier. So she became quite pissed that she did not get the letter or the message that Naruto sent a letter back, and she hunted him down like a dog. At Konoha at the same time. It's time to go to work, said Naruto, as he shook Anko awake. When did he become so strict? Anko stretched as she yawned, as she picked herself up looking daisy, before she slapped her cheeks as she focused. So, today's the exam, she said, as she made her way where food was waiting for her. As Naruto's cooking skills were top-notch, she thought that he wouldn't even want to go near the fire again. Instead, he did the opposite. He actually sought out the flame, and he took a weird pleasure in turning it off. And in a couple of past months, the mobs didn't do anything stupid, as they became rather fearful of the electrocuted boy that seemed to have shocked anyone that messed with him badly. And there was also these whispers going around that a demon had been going around dislocating joints, breaking muscles off Jonis and Anbu class ninjas, who had awoken next morning unable to move as they screamed in pain to get their neighbors' attention. Some of them that were mean to Uncle most of the time. Yeah, another headband, said Naruto. Gotta go. Shino would probably come here to grab me by force. Oh, the Shades boy, say Uncle. Saying Bug Boy was a no-no, especially around Naruto. Nice kid. Quiet type. Uncle approved, she said, though this wasn't the first time she was hearing about Shino. Don't go swinging the other way though. Remember, you're my ticket to get out of Hag Hood. As Naruto smiled, he waved goodbye. As he made his way. As you remember a couple of months ago when he was in the hospital, his first two visitors were Guy and Lee. Well, after Uncle and Kakashi, it actually gave him a good laugh. And they told him about the 5 hours straight interrogation that Sasuke had to go through. The Uchiha was the last of his clan, but he did try to kill Naruto, and he had tried to escape and gave someone else the fault. In the end, Minato had no choice. The proud, pristine, last Uchiha in Konoha had to work in the garbage collection department until graduation. Go was furious that was all he was gotten. But it has been months. But every single day, every time he was cleaning the trash, snakes just appeared out of nowhere and bit him for some reason. As he knew that it wasn't a coincidence, as they came in groups and bit him and just ran off. As Naruto arrived, "Yo, Naruto-san." "Naruto is fine, Kiba," said Naruto. As Naruto didn't hate flattery, but Kiba with his alpha thing was just getting a bit annoying. But he liked Kiba attitude. He was one of those direct people that Naruto liked. If he hates something, he said it. If he likes something, he said it. Not to mention if he likes something or someone, especially with the girls, he said it out loud. And they usually end up, well, calling him a mutter or something. "So, today's the exam," Sasuke said. "I really hope they don't make you fight him. After all, I don't want to fight on a bloody ground." Every time that they got the opportunity to fight, if Naruto hold back with someone else, he never did with Sasuke. He went in for the broken bone type. Sasuke always complained about a sore wrist or something once Naruto was done. Katsumi, on the other hand, knew that she had no chance of getting through Naruto armor now. If before there was a slim chance, now there were none. She had to help Sasuke out because in her eyes they were at least friends. But helping Sasuke completely distanced her away from Naruto, as many of Sasuke fangirl kept being with the boy. The class wasn't a happy one from that day onwards. On one side, there were those that were backing Sasuke. On the other side, there were those that want Sasuke to tone it down a bit and for what he did. Yes, it was bad. But there was one side in particular, and that was Shikamaru, who was the leader of that side, who just didn't give a crap. "Troublesome," the Naru muttered. As Naruto sat down, "I hope we will be in good teams," Shino said. As he didn't even say good luck on passing tests because he knew that they will pass. Naruto brought his fist up as Shino boom fist the boy back with a small grin on his face. "Yeah, I wonder too, bro," said Naruto. Time skip. Karma. Karma truly seemed to hate him or something. After all, being picked for having a KB seal inside of you when you were born with your twin sister. Life just didn't seem to work out good for Naruto, well, until certain events happened. In the Taijutsu spar for the exam, he was put up against Sakura Haruno, the surname. It took a second or two for him to remember that elderly woman at the orphanage that put him through hell. Yes, Yujito always told him that he should get to know people better. First impressions might not be, well, what you thought of, but it seems that the apple didn't even fall off the same branch. It just stood there. This girl was an annoying, whiny, weak, fragile little girl that just seemed to be obsessed with mating with Sasuke Uchiha. And she was just all about her image. She really think that will help her out here in the real world. She was first in the written tests, and she knew the academy fighting style, which was pretty much useless out there, because it was only beneficial for her to pass the exam. Naruto could break her like a twig. Even better, he could crush her, reduce her to nothing but a pulp on the ground. But it still would make it up for the waste of air that the girl breathed. He could do that, but Shino was nearby, so was Shikamaru. The two didn't hate him, obviously, and he didn't hate them. Shino was his new bro, and Shikamaru was too troublesome to have any enemies. And despite rumors, Naruto was not a cold-blooded murderer, so they were there to keep him in check just in case he kind of lost it in the battle. Certain times his anger just spiraled out of control, and since the explosion with the Uchiha, his anger has become uncontrollable. There were moments when he wanted to tear and destroy everything in his path. He only stopped and slowed down when someone close to him called his name. Anko had been the first. A junkie ninja had called her snake bitch. As Naruto had pounced on the man, he beat the man until his face was nothing but a bloody smudge on the ground. Anko had to stop him as she cried out his name. He didn't want to see Anko sad because of him, so he had stopped himself. And now he was feared, and he preferred that than to be attacked by the mob. As he stood there with his dark green jacket and his dark green shorts as well, cargo pants. As a pink-haired girl was standing over to the other side, she was wearing a dark one-piece dress with black shorts as she was clearly nervous. She would have forfeit immediately, but doing that would make 0 points. She needed at least 5 points to pass the test. She was certain that she scored a lot on the written test. But when it came to Taijutsu, why did she have to get him as an opponent? Only Taijutsu, remember, were amongst friends, no breaking bones. Shikamaru was there to capture Naruto with his shadow just in case though, and Shino was gonna drain Naruto chakra with his bugs if he lost it. But Iruka knew as well that if Naruto decided to move, the girl would get seriously hurt if Naruto went strong at first. Not even him can step in so fast. Give up, Sakura-chan, Ino yelled. Some points in that test just wasn't worth a complete facial remake. Even makeup had its limits. She was even willing to not call her forehead girl if it saved her face. You wish Ino pig, I'm not gonna fail just because of him, Sakura yelled back. As Naruto chuckled darkly at that. He had acted like a jerk to all the girls in the class. A slim exception towards Hinata, only because Kiba had spoken about her nicely to his new boss. Not that Naruto cared about any of them, well except for Shino and Shikamaru as his friends. As Sakura knew that he all saw them as worthless, especially her Sasuke-kun as well, who just needs someone to warm his heart. How dare they put Sasuke in the garbage collection system? Until the end of the exam, that was just wrong. He was last Uchiha. He was in a really famous clan that would be brought back to his former glory. With the help of her, of course. Aruka-sensei, how about you just give me the full marks, so I can avoid fighting her? She can go ahead and fight the other cheerleader, said Naruto, so I don't have to stain my hand with weaklings. Aruka was actually thinking about it. In a couple of days, Naruto had gone from sweet to steel. Ever since he came out of the hospital, and he no longer played around. And he wasn't like boasting because actually compared to Naruto, Sakura was weak. It would just be a one-sided battle. But life wasn't fair and the students had to note as well. No, the sorting had been completely casual, and you might just lose to her. It can happen. Naruto simply nodded as he went quiet. He just went quiet. As he acted, he moved like a ninja. No boasting or no shouting, he just went quiet. Alright? Begin, Aruka said. The moment Aruka dropped his hand, the match was over. Bam! Naruto grabbed her by the throat. As Sakura couldn't even move, his hand was around her neck like a grip. A vice grip she clawed. She tried to get it off, but she could not. So, said Naruto as he tightened his grip. Is this enough for full marks, Sensei? He asked. Aruka knew what Naruto meant. If he didn't give him full marks, if he didn't pass him by this, he would beat the crap out of the girl, just for spite. Yes, that's enough, Naruto, Aruka said. As Naruto released her, she dropped right on her butt as she gasped for ear. As Naruto walked with the ring. Well, seems I didn't need a buffer, said Naruto. Troublesome, said Shikamaru. At least you were merciful, said Shino. You should have probably spanked her right in the ring, said Kiba. She's always just whining. And that damn guy over there. People didn't really say Sasuke's name in front of Naruto anymore, because it always seemed to just piss him off even worse. As Naruto still hadn't forgotten about the explosion, as that had changed him more to a colder point, he seemed to stop be playing around with people after all. And Sasuke hadn't get the chance to fight Naruto at a full-on battle yet. At the end, usually it ended quickly with Naruto just snapping something, or Sasuke ended up having to go to the hospital. But in a full drawn-out battle, they didn't have that yet. Aruka always stopped the battles when Sasuke complained of aches. Even Aruka saw it. The more time passed, the more angry Naruto gets. He wanted Sasuke to feel how an explosion feels. He wanted to drop the boy to the ground and snap every single bone in his body just to make him feel pain. The taijutsu battles came to an end. Sasuke went up against a fangirl who forfeited because she loved him too much to even consider fighting him. And Kiba beat the crap out of a boy. Shino held his own quite well. Shikamaru outsmarted his opponent rather quickly, and Katsumi fought another girl. And it turned into a rather cat fight. Naruto turned his head. Considering who her parents were, you would think that she would at least have some proper skills. But it seems like, no. Kunai practiced then, as Naruto hit all the targets, as everyone else went up. It was then for ninjutsu. So, Naruto-kun, Aruka said, you need to make a clone, a transformation, and a substitution. Naruto rolled his eyes, as he didn't know how the Konoha system was so, well, pathetic when it comes to tests. But he didn't say that out loud, he just kept it to himself. He did everything in the blink of an eye. As Aruka blinked, well, he was some kind of a genius, despite sometimes being arrogant with it. Congratulations, you passed with full marks. You know some enthusiasm would kill you, said Aruka. Yeah, well, I'll be off then, said Naruto as he walked away. Aruka said, as he pointed towards the leaf headbands on the table. Do I really need to take one, said Naruto. I'm afraid so. Why did you bother going to the academy though, if you didn't want one? As Aruka felt like he wanted to hit the boy over the head. Usually kids cry and beg for one when they fail, yet this boy didn't want one. Maybe because it was either this or forced brainwashing in Anvu. As Naruto slowly picked it up with his two fingers, as both Aruka and Mizuki remained silent until Naruto left. Mizuki then spoke. Aruka-san, isn't it risky to give him a Konoha headband? He doesn't want one, clearly. but with it, he can have access to the ninja supplies of Konoha. And if he does something with that headband on, it might bring trouble to the Hidden Leaf. Hokage orders. He got the permission from the daimyo, who is all too happy to have an alliance with Kumo. Still, it's gonna be hell assigning teams though, said Aruka. The numbers are all crazy. There was bound to be a team with more than 3 students. But the Hokage had final say on the teams, so all Aruka could do was give principle, characteristics, and hope. Sincerely hope that wherever the boy ended up, he come to like his teammates. He did write it perfectly that Sasuke and him should not be in the same team. That was too risky. But Naruto and Shino and Kiba would possibly make a good team, with at most Shikamaru in the mix. But the Nara, Yamanaka, and Nakamichi was too well known and they would be a team. But there was another thing that he actually feared, that Hokage would do. What would result in the most horrible day for him? As Aruka was thinking that, Naruto was wondering if he tied the headband to his sandal and walk on it would be too much of a disrespect. He didn't want to offend Uncle, Kiba, or Shino. But he didn't want that thing on him. As he looked towards his right sleeve, Kuro, come out, he said. The snake that came from his right sleeve was black, kind of opposite of what Shiro had been. He was much thicker and bigger, and he had blue eyes. The only strange feature in a normally poisonous black snake. As Kuro looked at the headband, he shook his head. Not a chance in hell, he said, as he slid her back into Naruto's sleeve. Did the boy take him for a trash can? He knew perfectly well how the boy hated Konoha, and since he was a snake, he hated Konoha as well. It was a bond between the two. It was the sole reason why he was capable of eating ramen, probably the only snake. Uncle had promised herself never ever take on a bet with Naruto ever again, as she had to wear pink kimono for the entire week. Come on, you're no fun, you know that? No one of the families there spoke to him, as he made his way to exit the academy. Naruto-kun, damn it, why couldn't he just take the back or dash away? Oh yes, the voice wasn't alone, there was also that bastard with her, who needed but a flick of the hand to send him on the ground in pain because of that seal. He turned with the best forceful smile he could. Yes, Uzumaki-sama, Hokage-sama, he said. So you're now a ninja of Konoha, like your friends, Shino-kun and Kiba-kun, said Kushina with a smile. As Minato said nothing, his gaze trying to avoid Naruto's. As Naruto replied, so it would seem, Uzumaki-sama, he said. At least now I won't risk the Envoy program, he said. Just 4 more years, and you'll be back home. As he couldn't wait for a Chunin exam to see them once again. You know, I could assign them on your team. I'm the one placed in the teams, said Minato. He knew that the boy wasn't going to trust him. Never. After he failed to punish the Uchiha, after he almost killed him, the council had claimed that it was just a harmless prank that ended up turning to something bad. That is if you can provide convincing arguments over a lunch, said Minato, as he knew that the boy would refuse. Of course he will. Thank you for your kind offer, said Naruto, as he narrowed his eyes. But I do not want to make your family uncomfortable by intruding, said Naruto. As Naruto quickly left, Kushina was about to say something when she heard crying. As she turned towards Katsumi, who was outright crying and she didn't have a headband. She didn't pass. The spoiled little Hokage brat didn't pass. But what if he forcefully promoted her? As Naruto knew about the dead last with the best in the class. No, hell no. He made his way, making his way towards the cemetery, where he knew Kakashi would be. As Naruto arrived and landed, Kakashi turned with his famous eye smile. What brings you here, Naruto-kun? Want to go poison hunting, he asked. As Naruto told Kakashi his problem, Kakashi did not ask him to be passed because he saw the headband in Naruto's right hand. And well, he knew he would. Well, he can't just force her to pass her, said Kakashi. The only way for him to do that is to do a publicly act of favoritism. And he wouldn't do something like that unless he wants his political rival Danzo to seize the opportunity. But considering that you blow him off for lunch, he can't place you in a horrible team with a horrible sensei, said Kakashi. But at least your cousin won't be with you, unless she managed to achieve an impossible feat, like beating a Chunin level ninja, or learning a forbidden jutsu. Yeah, she couldn't do that by tomorrow, so he was safe. So would you like to go and get some ramen? Uncle isn't coming back home until later tonight, said Naruto. As Kakashi nodded, he was a bit hungry, but he knew the reason. Naruto wanted to see under his mask, as he's become quite insistent on seeing what is under there. Since he realized it's hard to find out, it became a project of his. As Kakashi chuckled, the boy had changed a lot since that little incident with Sasuke. He also had his ninjato on him, as it was natural, chakra conductive, seeing that the boy was natural with lightning affinity. With good training, He would become a force to be reckoned with soon enough. Kumo would be getting back at elite ninja. As Kakashi knew, no matter how much he wished the boy would have a change of heart and choose Konoha, he would not. He would choose Kumo, as Kakashi didn't want to take Naruto on as an apprentice. But he was kinda fine with it, as long as they didn't meet on the battlefield as enemies. As the two arrived and sit down in front of Toki and Ayam, when I was told that ninja graduates were all happy about their foreign protector. You don't seem like that all Naruto-gun, Ayam said. As Toki went on to meet their ramen, he didn't have to take their orders, as he knew what they want, even Kakashi, as Naruto had invited him a lot for ramen, just so he can see what is under that mask, and the man always ordered the same thing, even Naruto as well, and even his little snake Kuro. Ayam had saw the snake she had passed out, because it was just so surprised when it just lashed out of his arm. But it apologized after she had woken up. Yes, it spoke to her. Toki had taken it in stride, as he just got one more customer. The snake always eat his ramen full, as he really loved it. I'm just trying to find a non-offensive place for it at the same time. Make it clear I don't enjoy having it, said Naruto. And Kuro obviously doesn't want to eat it. I'm not a trash can, Kuro said. And how can you display it from my stomach, huh? Well, I could show you from my right sleeve. And then you could open your mouth, said Naruto. Kakashi sighed so much for Sensei plan to convince Naruto to love and cherish the academy. Why don't you try to against your fist, Ayam said as she punched. You show it off on your fist when you want to. And when you're angry, you can punch it on the wall. And not to mention punch Konoha enemies when you're a good boy. As Naruto's eyes widened, you're a genius, he said, as Naruto tied it to his wrist. He then flicked it as it moved towards his knuckle as he moved his hand around. Perfect, he said. A metal knuckle guard. Typical. Look, I'm out, said Kuro. As he made his way off, he came back seconds later as he was already swallowed in the mouth. No matter how many times I see it, I still find it disgusting, Ayam said. I am disgusting when someone eat vegetables, but I don't go around speaking what's on my mind. There's a reason why Kami gave us fangs, and that's because we're supposed to eat meat. Unlike you, said Kuro. That's a diet. And I've been putting on weight with so much ramen around, Ayam said. So yeah, I don't eat meat so much anymore. You're not fat, said Naruto. Kakashi Sensei is. Oh, what? Where do you see the fat? Oh, under your mask, said Naruto. You see, his cheeks are really puffy, and he had this enormous lip. He stored half his body weight under the mask and... Oh, said Ayam. That would explain everything. I guess that's the reason he wears masks all the time. Yeah, his face is really fat, said Naruto. Does this look like a fat face, said Kakashi as he pulled on his mask? Both Naruto and Ayam looked towards the man. As Naruto stared wide eyes, Kakashi blinked. He raised back his mask. I guess you got me, he said. I'm no longer a Mr. Ninja. Come on, Hatake-san, you know. It was just a matter of time, said Kuro, as he placed his head back down the ramen bowl. Yeah, said Kakashi, as he started to eat his ramen. As Naruto sat there, as he really wanted to know how tomorrow will turn out, and especially who was going to be on his team. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the what is coming your way over an Anime King and Anime King 3. And if you're new over here, yes, this is my second channel, Anime King 2. I have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me for new I'll be planning talking about to all of you. So what do you say we get the hell out of here? See you guys soon. Peace.